Hello and welcome. Today I am discussing the topic of values and also why it's important for us to honor our values. And the main thing is actually about testing and how we get tested by the universe on a daily basis, and how our astrological chart actually gives us a really clear picture of what areas in our life are out of balance and need to come back into balance and harmony in this lifetime. So therefore, we can actually see what kind of tests we're going to experience in this lifetime um, based on our astrological chart. So when I looked at mine as I'm studying astrology, I noticed that certain planetary positions and alignments and the way that they are at the time that I was born have set me up 100% to experience a lot of difficult things in my life in order for those difficult things to help me learn and grow and actually become stronger. So I find the more that we get tested in life and the more difficulties you have to face, the more you are being called upon to change, the more the universe is basically challenging your soul to evolve. And I find we never ever get burdens that are heavier than what we can carry. However, sometimes in life it certainly feels like we get burdens that are impossible to carry. It can feel that way. However, I find nothing in this universe is put upon us that we can't handle. In many cases, we can. It's just all up to our approach, how we're looking at that situation, how we view it, how we feel about it, and whether we're open enough to see the lessons or the value of those lessons within a certain situation. So I'm talking about testing this week because we are approaching a full moon this coming week. This week. We are also experiencing so many different planetary alignments right now that are 100% challenging us, like to the core. I find some of these challenges are really shaking up our inner world, and that's what they're meant to do. That's why they're there. That's why it's happening to you, so that you can go through an experience and really get it and really learn what you're meant to learn out of that. When I look at my own life and when I look at my own chart, I can see where I have imbalances big time. And those imbalances are going to be the areas of my life where I'm going to really need to work hard to overcome myself. Because to be honest, I feel like I have to overcome myself. It's like every person that is born, and at the time that you were born, you come in with an instant blueprint to your life. And your astrological chart is your blueprint for your life. It gives you a beautiful picture and story about what possibilities you can have, what things you should look out for, some possible hindrances that are going to appear in your life or may appear in your life. It really lays out this beautiful map to the entire person's, like to the entire life of that person, so that you can really integrate lessons and learn some deep truths within yourself, so that in the next lifetime you don't have to come back and repeat those lessons. You don't have to go through that process again. You come in this lifetime, and if you do good and you pass the test and you go through all the tests and you do well, then the reward is that you get to evolve and grow spiritually and as a human being. And the value of that is absolutely priceless, because I know even little tiny triumphs of my own spiritual growth. I know how that has felt for me, and it has been monumental. It's so mind-blowing when you look at your life from this perspective, from a spiritual perspective, where things aren't problems, they're tests. So think of your entire life as a test. That's what I've come to realize. If I can accept that my entire life is essentially a test, and every opportunity and in every moment I have a choice to make, and I can choose option A, B, C, or D. And it's always up to me what I choose. Okay, maybe not always. Sometimes certain things just kind of happen where you feel like you don't have a choice, and sometimes you don't. But that too is a test. That too is an opportunity to learn and to grow. Again, any hardships, anything that we go through in life that is a genuine struggle is there to test you. It tests your resilience. It tests your personal strength. It tests your willpower. It tests really everything within you to see if you can go through it, to see, if you're going to evolve and grow as a result of that situation, or are you going to collapse and fall and crumble under that situation? So don't allow fears to get in the way, because what I've come to understand in my own life is that it doesn't matter how many things I'm afraid of. They're just irrational fears, and I can never overcome a problem if I'm afraid of it. If I'm worried about it, I can't overcome it. I have to problem solve. I have to actually look for a solution every time something happens in my life that I'm not expecting and that throws me for a loop. I always have to kind of take a moment and recalibrate myself and look at it from a new perspective, because I'm human too, and it's so easy to fall into the pit of egoism so quickly, where the ego takes over and all of a sudden judges everything about that situation and turns it into something terrible and turns you into like the victim of it. So I know that my ego does that, and the only way I can stop it is by recalibrating, revisiting that situation from a new perspective. And the new perspective is always a spiritual one. I find it's the only perspective that really truly allows me to clearly see the situation for what it is, without judgment and without anything else, just purely seeing what I am meant to learn from this. Because most oftentimes when something tragic or bad happens, there's always a blame placed. But who is the blame placed on? Usually on the person or the individual that was the incoming, right? Whatever came into your life that you didn't expect and tragedy hit, the person that caused it, so to speak, is usually the person that is blamed. However, we can't look at situations from that perspective anymore. I think we need to start approaching them, and I've been saying this to clients for years, that problems always have to be approached from a situation of like, first of all, did I have any heads up in this? Did I have any red flags that perhaps I missed and I wasn't paying attention to, and now here's the problem? Red flags, like, was I aware? Was I even paying attention? Perhaps not. A lot of times there are indicators in life letting us know when something is about to happen or is going to happen, or it'll be a gut feeling or just something. But we tend to ignore those feelings, and then we're so surprised when something shitty happens, right? Well, of course that something happened because the signs were there. Universe was warning you to prepare, but then you didn't actually prepare. So I'm recognizing in my own personal life that it's very important to pay attention to the signs when the universe shows us signs about situations, people, or circumstances, because that is the heads up. That is the information that you're getting, where the universe is trying to let you know that, hey, a lesson is about to come in with so-and-so or with this circumstance. Are you ready for it? Or prepare for it. It's trying to kind of give you a heads up. And again, how you approach it, how you view it, your perception about it is what will determine the outcome ultimately, because how you view that situation, that's your world. That is your experience. So if you view it from a victim perspective, then that's what you are. You're a victim of that situation. And what is a victim? A victim is someone that is helpless, that can't change a situation, or, is a person that experiences something they did not want to experience or didn't necessarily sign up for. So reevaluate and look at that. Am I truly a victim of this situation, or is this something that is just coming perhaps repeatedly into my life because I need to really be aware? It's trying to teach me a lesson. It's trying to show me something much, much deeper within myself, or perhaps it's trying to show within me what is not in balance. because that's the other piece I've noticed is I have to balance certain elements within myself. I'm a fire sign, so I'm very, very fiery, but we have 4 elements. We have air, water, fire, earth. And so when I look at my astrological chart, I have to be aware and I have to look at everything, right? I try to look at the big picture and see, okay, well, how much earth, how much air, how much water, and how much fire do I have in my chart? And then you're getting that right off the bat will give you a really awesome overview, an insight into where you're going to be imbalanced, because you're going to notice that certain elements are stronger in your chart than others. So that will give you an automatic, obvious sign in terms of what you need to work on and what elements you're going to need to balance in your life. And I find when I connect to the elements that are not in balance in my life, and I start to work with them and I start to look at how I can bring perhaps more of that element into my life in sometimes in a metaphorical way or just a perspective type of way, then all of a sudden I feel more balanced. Like I can balance that part out of in my life because I have awareness now that I'm always going to need to be vigilant about that. Like if I don't have very much water in my chart, you know, water connects to emotions and stuff, then I have to be aware that if something that's out of whack in my life or in this lifetime, it's not in balance. And I will have to be extra vigilant to make sure that I do take care of the emotional part of my life, that I'm not ignoring that, because I may have a tendency to do that because of this imbalance. So I don't know, it's just kind of something I felt I wanted to share, because I don't think we look at the astrological chart that way. A lot of people follow astrology and they watch astrology and have like some basic understanding about the planets and stuff. But I think in terms of the elements, I'm noticing for myself, it's something that we should be aware of and pay attention to and just get an idea of what is imbalance and what isn't. So it'll just give you so much insight to yourself, and then you're going to understand like, oh, okay, so that's why I have, you know, recurring situations in that area of my life, because there's an imbalance there and there's something that I need to heal in this lifetime, or there's something that I need to learn or understand in this lifetime about that. That's been helpful for me. So take a look at your astrological chart is what I'm going to suggest, and really get a clear sense of what's in there. And if you don't know how to read your astrological chart, what I would suggest is to either take some courses on that, or definitely do some research online. There's tons and tons of information online. I'm going to look for a couple of good links that I can post in this video where you can put in your birthday information and get a really good birth chart. I think there are free websites that you can use, so I'll link that. And check it out for yourself and just kind of get a feel like how much of each element you have in your chart. And it'll help you to start getting onto this path of really being much more aware of yourself, because ultimately it's what we're here for, to become aware of the self and to understand yourself actually on a significantly deeper level than you understand yourself right now. And I know there's things like ayahuasca that can be very helpful with that. I know several people that have gone and done it. I've never done it personally myself, but it is something that I've been interested in trying, just because I hear that there's like this ego death that takes place when you do ayahuasca. I mean, I'm not looking forward to the bad ride. I heard it can be pretty testing and trying, but I mean, ultimately, I'm willing to go through that suffering if at the end of the day I come out on the other side with a surrendering of my ego. Well, shit, yeah, I want to do that, because that is what I'm here for. It's what we're all here for, actually, to learn to balance our ego and ourselves in a much more harmonious way, so that we're not always operating out of ego, out of fear. But more from a trusting place, from the heart, from the soul, from the deepest part of yourself. That's where I want to operate out of all the time, because, you know, I still get triggered like shit, left, right, and center. Don't we all? Right? I get triggered all the time, and especially when things happen. Last week, someone trespassed on my property and stole from me. Like, that triggered me pretty good, right? But then I had to kind of check myself and look at my response to that, and kind of, ultimately it was me. I don't know who did it, so it was ultimately me that I had to look at and work with myself and figure out, okay, like, how did this happen, or why did this happen? What is the situation actually trying to teach me? That was the biggest thing that I was trying to figure out, which I think I've figured out. I've journaled on it, so I think I figured out a few key lessons that I've gotten from that situation last week. But you know, it's you're going to be tested. You're going to be constantly tested, and know that, because if you understand and you start realizing that all of life is just a test, it's all about how we show up. How do I show up on a daily basis? You know, do I have humility? Am I able to show up in a kind and loving, compassionate way, regardless of what external circumstances are happening in my life? Am I able to show up that way? That is ultimately the question. And that is what you're here to test, and what you're here to be tested on. Okay, so that is the purpose of why we're all going through Earth School, because we need to learn. We got a whole lot of learning to do and growing. And this is just such a perfect environment for that. It's why we're so diverse. It's why there are so many of us on this planet, and so many kinds of people on the planet, because we're all different, and we're here in this perfect mishmash of like a testing field. It's kind of what I feel like. It's like Earth is just this huge bubble where souls come to grow and learn, and we test each other and go through situations and grow and evolve as a result. So life is beautiful. Don't allow the heavy shit and the dark times and the difficult times weigh you down. I really want to speak some words of encouragement to you if you feel shitty about your life right now. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. And I can assure you that the only way to come out of that is through spirituality. It is the only thing that has pulled me. It's reconnected me to myself. I'm beginning to understand myself so much deeper than I ever have. And that is such a gift. And that's happening because I put the work in, and I wanted to get to know myself. I want to learn about me. And this is why I'm studying astrology now for the last 8 months. And I'm going to continue to study. You know, it's never ending with astrology. Actually, it's never ending. There's so much to know. And it's absolutely incredible how the astrology affects our daily lives. And even that, like, the astrology constantly gives us a heads up in terms of what tests are coming. It constantly gives us a heads up, as long as we're aware of it and paying attention to it. So keep that in mind. And if you feel super lost, I'm really going to direct you to start looking at your astrological sign, and really start looking at your sun, moon, and rising. And watch it on a daily. You know, there's tons and tons of really amazing, very talented tarot readers online. You know, watch those videos, and I read my horoscope for each week, you know, and I watch different videos about that, specifically for my sign, because I want to know what tests are coming, so that I can prepare for them emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, in whatever way I need to. So check out your chart, sun, moon, rising. Okay, these are the 3 most important. Check those out for yourself, and try to see between the lines, try to read between the lines, and see what tests each of your circumstances in life are trying to get you to learn. What is it what test do you need to pass? Is it a test of compassion? Is it a test of kindness? Is it just simply a test of understanding? You know, what is it? Or perhaps it's those things towards yourself, right? I find a lot of my tests were definitely people coming into my life and testing me in different ways, and all of those tests had to do with my own self-love. Was I able to say yes to me, and was I able to honor myself in that moment, or in that situation? That's what the test was. Are you choosing you, or are you going to bend backwards again for someone that may not deserve it, right? That was the question, fundamentally, without me giving you details. That was ultimately the question. So, and I feel like I'm doing better and better, and I'm passing, and I'm not passing the test every time. Trust me, I'm human. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm trying to figure this out. But it's hard. It's when you're stuck in your patterns and you're used to doing things a certain way, you've been taught how to do things a certain way in your life, it can be very difficult to break those patterns and, you know, to start fresh, because that's ultimately what you have to do. To become a brand new person, as Joe Dispenza says, you must like unlearn all of the old things that you have learned up until that point, and learn a brand new program and put that brand new program in here so that can now navigate your life and move you forward. So working on that, doing it. I love his meditations. I do Joe Dispenza's meditations quite frequently. I'm trying to do it on the daily right now. I don't get to it every single day, but I am trying to do it as often as I possibly can, because I just find it gives me so much clarity. It gives me peace, and it gives me a beautiful hour and 18 minutes of reconnecting to myself while I do that meditation. So I love that. I love that. And I always feel so much more wholesome. I feel so much more grounded, and I feel at peace within myself when I do those meditations. So remember the tests in life. The tests are always about your integrity and about how much you love yourself or don't love yourself. So pay attention to those tests, because it's pretty cool when you start to really notice them. And you're also going to start to notice at that point that they're diminishing and diminishing, because you are now having awareness and noticing them. So it's a cool thing. So keep paying attention. Keep staying tuned in to yourself first and foremost, okay? Everyone's super busy on social media and watching the news and doing other things. Leave some time for yourself every day. Leave some time for yourself to get to know yourself on a much deeper level. And meditation is a really great tool for that, for sure. So, and just keep, like I said, keep tuning in, keep checking in with your intuition about situations, circumstances, and you'll see you're going to have so much more insight into your life. So that is all for today. I hope this video is helpful for you. And I hope it gave you some insight into some of the situations you might be experiencing right now. And yeah, and I really, really look forward to putting more things together for you guys to help people really grow and learn, just through what I've learned through my process so far and through my own experiences. So wish you guys all the best. Take care. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the content here, you can subscribe to the channel. Also, if you hit a like button, that really, really helps me out and is greatly appreciated. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.